second here to make sure. It never does the first time. Going through a really rough area for cell data. So bear with me. It's a really rough area for cell data. Okay. Here's it's actually working. Alright everyone, so we are headed through southwest Wisconsin right now. I've decided we're going to head to Altus, Oklahoma, extreme southwest corner of Oklahoma for a severe weather event tomorrow. I think there could be a couple of photogenic supercells in the area, maybe some hailers, but probably nonetheless some pretty sights right around sunset. The following day, Monday, we've got a slight risk for severe weather for northeast Texas. And then looks like Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be more big days here across portions from Louisiana into Georgia. Like I said, I'm going through a terrible area for phone service here in southwest Wisconsin. We're approaching Dubuque, Iowa here in about 20 minutes. Got a late start today. Thanks to the fact that every vehicle I own is a piece of crap. This vehicle had a pretty severe misfire in it that just randomly developed. Took it to the parts store, thought it had a bad coil, whatever. Must have got a bad coil, I don't know. So drove it over to the local Quick Lube oil change place that does some light duty stuff, and they're actually legitimate. They're not a crappy Jiffy Lube con artist place, they're a legitimate place. And they were able to kind of cobble it together here, so we should be good for a little while. I am fully budgeting $3,000 in the next month or two to just replace the motor in this thing with a remanufactured one from Jasper and just be done with it. Put a brand new motor in it, be good to go, and not have to worry about this crap anymore. Anyway, we're actually trying something a little bit better here that should help out our stream now. I'll explain that kind of in a minute. We're actually trying something a little bit better here that should help out our stream now. Just checking the delay. A couple of things you can actually see right now. I've got some LED headlights in here from Sylvania, not a sponsor. I still need to put another bar on. What I actually need to do is put two LED spots, because when I have the brights on, we've got plenty of light to the sides, but I want more light down the road. So I need to get some focused spot beam, some of those little LED pod lights, put them on the front bumper. But overall, I'm happy it beats the halogens we had in here, because I know it's frustrating at night to not be able to see what's going on camera. But thanks for joining me, everybody. I just am just on the way to southwest Oklahoma. Right now I'm in southwest Wisconsin. I'll probably be driving till about I'd say about 2 o'clock this morning. Probably stop somewhere near Kansas City for a couple of hours, and then we'll finish the drive. And I'll take a nap tomorrow afternoon. But I do believe I figured out our audio sync issues. OBS is garbage. I hate to say that because it's open source and it's so nice, but it's garbage for doing this stuff remotely. It doesn't like to ingest RTMP even using the VLC source, and it has major audio sync issues. So I'm using vMix as the ingester to add all the overlays. So shout out to vMix, not a sponsor. So it should, knock on wood, solve our problems, which allows us to use HEVC. I'm just just over OBS, problem after problem after problem. It's just not worth it. It's worth $60. The vMix is $60. It's worth it. I tried running it in VLC, and it's obviously an OBS issue. I was on some forums, and everyone was calling me an idiot. And I'm like, no, I'm not an idiot. It's not me, because I can open the RTMP or the SRT feed in VLC, and it runs fine. I could screen capture with OBS, and it was fine. It's just OBS won't ingest it like it's supposed to. It has major audio issues, so heck with it. vMix, it works. That's why you see a little bit different overlay. This is actually a new overlay. That's why you see a little bit different. I can switch this to basically what you're used to seeing before, and I'm going to do that right now to test it. We've got significantly less delay also, so that's nice. So this is what you're used to seeing. It's still present. That's nice. Yeah, I turn the GPS transponder on so you can see where I am. Dot should appear shortly. Yeah, you can see the blue dot there in southwest Wisconsin. But I've got the other overlay so people aren't confused. It seems like when I take that radar off of the screen, people realize we're not actively storm chasing, so that's why I'll switch it over here in a minute. But thanks for joining, everybody. Like I said, I'm planning an entire week of storm chasing if the car will make it that long. If it dies, it's going to get towed somewhere, and we're going to get a new motor. I'm done with it. Like I said, I think we'll be good. It's little petty problems like that, but you put so many miles on these things, it's like you might as well just throw a remanufactured motor in it for $3,000 and just not worry about the problems anymore. It's just so much cheaper in the long run. Especially with these tiny little 4-cylinders, it's only like 8 or 9 hours of labor to get them in and out. It's not a big deal. It's super easy. I've been really slacking, and I apologize, everybody. I am overwhelmed right now with things to do. You know, I was home for like 36 hours. I barely got anything done. This car screwed me over. There's just so much driving involved in this. I apologize, but I'm going to get the bot, the Streamlabs bot, posting the links to Twitter when we go live. I haven't been doing that. It's such an easy thing to do, but it's just one more thing on the plate that's got to get done, and I just never do it. So we'll be tweeting these out onto Twitter when I'm live again, so that you can follow along. That's cool. Just shine your bright lights right at me and burn my retina. There's a cop. Whoops. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't be burning people's retinas anyway. Probably know who that was. There's like 2 cops on duty in this. This is Lafayette County, Wisconsin. There's like 2 of them on duty at any time. And if that's the one that I used to work with at the ambulance company, he's a real jerk. I'm pretty sure that's who that one is, because he's usually on this. They split this county north and south. He's usually on the south end on the weekends. I don't like him. His name's Riley. He's a jerk. He was my partner at the ambulance company when I worked in Platteville, and they stuck me with him on the ambulance because I was new. and nobody wanted to work with him. And after about 3 shifts, I'm like, I am not doing this anymore. And everybody's like, screw you, you're working with him because nobody else wants to. I'm like, okay, whatever. That kid about killed me. We're coming down, if anybody's familiar with Platteville, Wisconsin, which I'm sure you're not, college town. Coming down a hill on the east side of town. And there's a hill, it's like a T intersection, but it's at the bottom of a hill. So basically, and then there's a huge embankment because, I mean, like a 100-foot embankment that you go down, you would like die if you roll through the stop sign. Well, this idiot, so this ambulance is an F750 chassis. It's like the biggest chassis that Ford makes. Okay? Like bigger than tow truck. Like it's ridiculous. It's like a semi. It's bigger than like the International, whatever. It's a giant ambulance, like fire truck, like ambulance box on a fire truck chassis. Okay. Weighs a piss ton, air brakes, all that. So this idiot, we're going down this hill, and you know, of course, he's got to use his lights and sirens for everything because he's important. Going to this lady that, just long story short, it was really dumb. It was not an emergency. We knew it wasn't. This idiot's going down this T intersection at like 75 miles an hour. Keep in mind that it's a 25 mile an hour zone. But you gotta, and I understand, you know, lights, whatever, exceed the speed limit, but if the road is meant for 25, it's certainly not meant for 75. Well, we start going down this road, and there's something wrong. The air brakes in this thing were crap. There was some issues, whatever, but I'm pretty sure that the brake pads on the back of this thing were overheating because we were having brake issues with this unit at the time. And we're going down this hill, and like you could hear these things just like screech, and like you could start smelling the brake material burning. And he about craps his pants because we about blow through the stop sign and go off this embankment at like 50 miles an hour. Well, luckily, he like cranked the wheel to the left really hard, about rolled this piece of crap ambulance down, almost rolled it down the embankment. And we didn't die, but we almost did. And I was just ticked after that. I'm like, you idiot. Like, you don't go down a hill at 75 miles an hour and expect to blow a stop sign and be able to turn a 20 to 30,000 pound vehicle at 70 miles an hour. Like, you're an idiot. So I'm pretty sure that's who that kid was. I wish he would have pulled us over. We would have talked to him live on stream. He always works the south half of this county. Anyway, that's my rant. Something rattling in this car, and I don't know what it is. You gotta be kidding me. But anyway, this is the small town of Benton, Wisconsin. We're gonna be heading into Dubuque here shortly. This town is like a speed trap. If you're doing a mile an hour over 25, you get pulled over. It's pretty ridiculous. Big revenue generating city here. Pretty sure the police department employs one person. I think that's part of the problem. I'm dead serious. I worked with a guy that got a ticket for 27 and a 25 here. It's pretty ridiculous. So you don't go a mile an hour over 25 through that town. But this is the pretty part of Wisconsin, in my opinion, out here with the rolling hills. That famous dead zone I'm talking about is up here. So. Chased by myself? Yes, absolutely. But anyway, yeah, if you're just joining, the plan is to head to extreme southwest Oklahoma. Probably end up in northern Texas at some point. But I can't pin that down until we start the chase. Expecting maybe a couple of isolated photogenic supercells. No tornadoes tomorrow, but we could have some pretty supercells out there in really good chasing terrain. It'd be nice to get some photogenic storms on stream for the first time since October. We'll be heading east after tomorrow, probably somewhere near like Tyler or Shreveport, well, Tyler or Texarkana area, for another severe weather day on Monday. I think Monday could be possibly be a bigger day. Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be in a zone somewhere between Louisiana and Georgia. Will be in the south and east again. And I don't think, I think we're going to get another slowdown here, at least for a couple of days, probably Friday through like Monday or Tuesday.
Stop sign. Turn left onto Highway 80.
All right, thanks everybody again for watching. I just like to do these, stay live for maybe an hour or two on the way to different targets so that everybody knows what's going on. And for some people, for some reason, some people like to watch. Just redid this part of the road finally. This was an awful section of road for quite a while.
1.8 miles. Turn right onto Lewisburg Road. Here's our usual Sunday driver. My God. Yeah, we got snow this morning. It's pretty miserable. It's extremely depressing. Why are we doing 45 and a 55? This guy's license plate says honest. Yeah, he's honestly slow. That's the problem about where I live is if you got two options for an interstate basically to get to either, well, if I'm going out like the typical tornado alley, you know, the Central Plains, like we are right now, the real option is to go, only option is to go west, obviously. So I need to eventually, to get through Iowa, to get to an interstate, I have to go about an hour and 20 minutes, like we're doing now, west. Turn right onto Lewisburg Road.
State and county roads, which is annoying. If I'm going down south or southeast, it's about an hour on partially state highway, but mostly county roads. And you get stuck behind somebody, and especially if you're stuck behind them the whole way, there's not very many passing zones. You're kind of screwed.
Turn right onto West Fairplay Street.
going to try, as a lot of you know, I'm running iPads in here. I used to run the computer in here, but it took up too much room to have that computer stand in this vehicle, so switched to the 2 tablets, 2 iPads. One runs radar and weather data, the other runs the stream. But I think I'm going to replace one of these with I've got a Windows tablet, a Surface, and I think I'm going to replace that with it. Just because the iPad, the way that the YouTube stream control panel is formatted, it doesn't fit on the iPad screen just right. So I'm going to have to experiment with that. Well, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, the cat. It was just a little guy. He was maybe a month or 2 old. But yeah, we heard this cat like hollering or whatever. And we didn't think much of it because we just thought it was a cat, outside cat meowing or whatever. And then it started like making these angry cat sounds. And we're like, well, that's weird. And I don't think anything was actually wrong with it. I think it was just scared, and it wasn't really stuck either. We just weren't sure if it was hurt or something because of the noises it was making.
Turn right onto West Fairplay Street.
It was like growling and howling and all this stuff. But it was soaking wet, and it was up in the wheel well of an old semi-truck. We were able to push him out of there. And
in 9.9 miles, turn left to merge onto US 61 South.
One of the other storm chasers there, Freddie, he was able to find somebody there. One of the fire or police people or somebody there was willing to take the cat home, make sure it was all right. So somebody took the cat. I'm not sure where the cat ended up, but the cat has a home now. But yeah, it was soaking wet, and it's very possible. As scared as it wouldn't surprise me. Basically, it was right in the tornado path. It's very possible that cat rode the tornado out where it was, because we were through when we found that cat. It was probably only about 15 minutes after that tornado went through. So it's very possible that cat rode that tornado out right where it's at. Not 100% sure, but it's possible. I see that tornado was rated that went through McLean that we were covering. McLean, Mississippi. It was rated an EF1, but the Weather Service said it was at least EF1, and I don't think they've finalized the storm report yet. So it's possible that could be EF2. Looking at the drone video that was taken there, a lot of uprooted trees as well, so I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they call that EF2, so we'll have to see it. It's possible they did. I need to go back and look. What in the world, man? Yeah, I need something to drink too. I'm just happy that my car didn't get stolen with all the equipment. I mean, there's a ton of equipment in here. I don't even know how to put a dollar amount on it. Just that I've collected over the years, cameras, computers, whatever. Really glad it didn't get stolen. I mean, eventually the cops got there, but they weren't there at first, and we had to leave the vehicles. And I didn't want to shut it off because I needed the lights on and the stream to stay up. And I couldn't lock. I have a spare key. A spare key made lock. So I had to leave the car unlocked.
really appreciate this guy now speeding up in the passing lane. That's a pretty typical southern Wisconsin thing. Do about 45 and a 55, and then when there's a passing zone, get in the left lane for passing, and then just speed up. So that it's a pain to pass. It's just a typical Wisconsin thing. I don't know why. I see it here more than anywhere else. Drives me nuts. Should be coming into Dubuque here pretty shortly. But man, I did an oil change on this thing today, and I slipped a little bit on the snow, and I spilled probably a half a quart of oil on the exhaust of this thing, and my God, you can really smell it. But anyway, delay now in the stream. About to be coming into Dubuque here. By about 5 minutes.
Mississippi River Bridge here. Dubuque is a really pretty town. Dubuque's really confusing to get through traffic-wise if you don't know what you're doing. Very old town. Half of the city's up on a hill, like a crazy hill. I hate to be driving here in the winter, that's for sure. About 12 hours away from our starting location for tomorrow's evening's chase, which is Altus, Oklahoma. Plenty of time. Probably be driving until about 2 a.m. and then I'll stop for a couple of hours and then I'll finish the drive in the morning. Shouldn't be a big deal. Gas is $3.89 here. It came down quite a bit. Finally. Like I said, thanks everybody for joining and watching. I know some people seem to really enjoy the driving and stuff while on the way to the chase targets, so I'm trying to do that more now. Plus, it's a way to make sure everything is working. Thermometer on the car and the mirror quit working. That's frustrating. Let's get that fixed. And thanks for the super chats in there. I see one popped up. I always appreciate it. They scroll by so fast, sometimes I miss them, and I apologize if I miss anybody's. But we use these, the super chat fees to cover the data costs. And
and help offset some of the gas prices a little bit when they're this high. Yeah, I saw comments about the roads. They're terrible through here. I'm convinced, though, that everywhere in the Midwest just has awful roads. It seems like. Especially northern Illinois, it's really bad. Might stop at the Quick Trip up here. Just because I think if I top the tank off right now, I think we can get to Kansas City without having to stop then. And these late night drives, I really just prefer to just like go. I really don't like to stop because it feels like it slows you down all the time. It's just nice to just get in the car and just go. Thanks, Karen. I have a cat named Karen for the super chat. Yeah, that's why I try to put the streams up when we're just driving, because some of the places we drive through are kind of obscure. And somebody suggested it in a live stream at one point. They said, well, we should just put the stream up. And I said, well, people don't want to watch that. And they said, well, they don't have to watch it if they don't want to watch it. I'm like, well, that's a good point. So I'm going to be switching up the thumbnails. So like if it's just driving and not storm chasing, it'll be a different thumbnail. You know, it'll be a road. It won't be a tornado. So I know that's a little confusing. But yeah, it is kind of a neat opportunity. Kind of unfortunate in the darkness, but I thought there was a Quick Trip right up. Oh, you know what? That's shoot. We're gonna have to settle with the Casey's. Going out of Dubuque, Highway 20. And we're on 51 or 151. God darn it. That's okay. We stopped at this Casey's last week on our way down.
In half a mile, take a sharp right turn onto Twin Valley Drive.
Come on, cars. I keep forgetting it's a Saturday night. I feel like it's Monday or something.
Turn left onto Macocata Drive, then turn right onto US 52.
The steering wheel in this car squeaks when you turn it. It's really bothering me. I think one of the steering column bushings is shot. Alright, I will be right back. I'm going to get something to drink. I'm not going to top up here. I will be right back.
This place. This Casey's hates me. I'm not kidding. So this card reader is messed up at this Casey's. I had the same problem last time. It wouldn't read the chip on my debit card. So you gotta swipe, you gotta do it like 3 times and then it lets you swipe. Well, like this lady didn't know what I was talking about. At least she thought I was full of it. She's like, well, it says your card was declined. I said, I promise it's not declined. And then I made a joke that she took as an insult. I didn't mean to. I see how she could take it as like me being a snob or something. But I told her, I said, for once in my life, there's plenty of money on this card for once in my life. And she's like, oh, that must be nice. And I said, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I said, for once in my life, there's money in this bank account. I said, there won't be for like the next 5 minutes. I said, but there is at the moment. Like, she got kind of offended, and I get it, and I felt really bad. And then she canceled the transaction, so I had to put the card in 3 more times. And it was really awkward. And there was like 10 people. There's a good 3 people behind me. It was really awkward. I felt bad, but whatever. But yeah, I've been to that Casey's like 4 times this year, and every single time I'm at it, the chip thing doesn't work. So it's a good thing because one of my credit cards does not have a magnetic strip on it. It's just the chip. But anyway, thanks for the super chats. Oh yeah, trust me, the commentary can get pretty interesting. Yeah, so I got Powerade in a cup. Oh, the McLean tornado was EF2, was it? Okay, I figured. Well, thanks for the super chats, everyone. Oh, the information about putting the card in backwards. Somebody told me that before, and I forgot about that. What got me interested in being a chaser? I don't really know. I just kind of started doing it, honestly. Yeah, this door dinger is ridiculous. It'll stop, and then it'll start doing it again. But yeah, so I got Powerade in the fountain cup because it's like half the price. And then normally I eat healthy food only while chasing, but they didn't have anything. They didn't have any fruit. They had nothing. So I got a bag of what is this officially called? Cheese munchies. Okay, whatever. Uh-oh, I wasn't supposed to exit, was I? Nope, I was. Oh, son of a gun.
Keep right onto US 151 south towards Cedar Rapids.
Nope, I was. I drive this drive enough, you would think I would know where I'm going. Oh yeah, Nick's car blew up, so.
Maybe you turn.
I see he's in there. Nope, I did take the wrong exit. Come on. Freaking kidding me.
At the stop sign, turn left.
Why would I turn left? What does this GPS know that I don't?
Why wouldn't I just go straight and get back on the highway? Yeah, I'm starting to wonder actually if this car's got a little bit of a head gasket leak in one of the oil passages.
Proceed to the route.
Because it burns a pretty good amount of oil.
Proceed to the route.
What am I not? What, can I not get back on the highway here, or what is the deal here?
Proceed to the route.
Garbage GPS. You gotta be freaking kidding me.
Proceed to the route.
Alright, I'm turning around. This is ridiculous.
Proceed to the route.
This car, this GPS. But it burns enough oil that it makes me wonder
Proceed to
if
the
the
route.
compression. I did a compression test on it just because I figured that maybe the oil rings were starting to wear out. The compression's fine. It's right in the middle of what Ford spec is. So
Go past this stop sign, then continue on to
I kind of think there
61
might be a
south.
slight head gasket leak forming, but it's been like this forever, so I don't know. It could be like valve seals or valve seats too. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, we're going to put a new motor in this thing. Oh my God, what is going on with this GPS? You got to be kidding me. Apparently that's not an entrance ramp.
Turn left onto US 52.
Whatever, we're just going to do this. I don't care anymore. It's dumb. This is dumb. Yeah, so I was talking to Nick about his car. Yeah, he got screwed. So the used car dealer that he bought this Toyota RAV4, which is a very reliable car, that he bought it from, he put like, 2,000 miles on it, and he's had it for like a month and a half. Well, it's got a head gasket leak. Well, he didn't overheat it. He didn't do anything wrong, so it probably bought it with it. The dealer he bought it from won't even like try to help him out, which is ridiculous. Because I used to flip cars. That's how I used to make a living. Buy and sell cars with a small dealer's license.
Use the left lane.
If you sell somebody a car and 2,000 miles later their head gasket goes and there's no signs of overheating, the least that dealership could do is say, hey, let me get you a rental car while it's in the shop. Or they could say, hey, let me at least pay for the parts
US 61 south.
or something. Because that's ridiculous. A little customer service would be nice there. Because, yep, you're right, it's a used car, as is where is. Technically, it's not their fault to fix it, but just for the sake of customer service, they can at least offer to pay for his parts. Because honestly, the head gasket and the head bolts are probably only like $300 worth of parts. The parts are pretty cheap. The head gasket's just mostly labor intensive. And the most that guy that owns the dealership could do is at least give him the money for the parts. Or like I said, offer him a rental car. Just something to say, hey, I'm sorry, I care. I mean, if he doesn't want to pay for the whole thing, I guess I get it. But he could at least offer to try to compensate him. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way that he got screwed like that. I'm not a fan of dealerships for that reason. But yeah, I do agree. It almost would be at this point. With 100-something thousand miles on that car, you might be able to just get a remanufactured motor for like $4,500. I looked at Nick's quote. He sent it to me from the dealership, and they're quoting him to R&R the motor. R&I the motor, which is repair and install, or remove and install. I don't know why they're trying to take the motor out to do the head gasket on that, because I looked it up in the service manual, and you don't need to. I don't know what's going on there. But if you have to take the motor out and put it in, then it could just be potentially a good idea to just replace the whole thing. But that's kind of why I'm leaning. That's why I'm budgeting to maybe, in the middle of May or something. Or even if I can push it off till the end of May. I just want to get a motor from Jasper, one of those reman ones. 3-year, 5-year, whatever it is, warranty, unlimited miles, warranty, brand new motor, put it in here and be done with it. Then you don't have to worry about those little petty fixes. It's cheaper in the long run. And it's cheaper than you can't buy a car with a new motor in it for $3,000. So it just makes sense. Then you don't have to worry about the oil thing in here. save money on all the oil. Because like I said, I'm dumping a quart in like every 800 miles on this thing now. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just drinking oil. But it still runs good. The motor's quiet. I had the valve cover off. The cam lobes, camshaft, everything. It's nice and clean. It's not all gummed up. It visually looks good. I put a quart of Lucas in a oil stabilizer this time. We'll see if that does anything. If not, maybe I'll just run like 1540 in it and be done and say screw it. Good ones, they do good work. Yeah, like I said, I got he's a mechanic about an hour away from me. He's just a really nice guy. $3,000. I'm like, well, you can't get a car for that. So still gotta get the Fusion fixed. I've got to get that towed on Monday. I think if I was gonna buy a brand new car, I don't even know what I would buy because nothing's that overly reliable anymore. But if I get in a car accident with this car tonight, I'd probably be looking for like a Toyota RAV4, like a 2006 to 2012 time frame. Can't go wrong with Toyota. Tell you what I won't ever buy again. Actually, I can tell you a handful of cars I'll never buy again. Those of you that don't know, I used to be a mechanic. I went through the Ford certification and all that. Pretty much every vehicle I've ever owned was a Ford. The worst vehicle I've ever owned, statistically, has been a Ford F-150. Every single F-150 that I have had has either put my bank account in the negative, or it's left me stuck on the side of the road somewhere. And that really makes me mad because I'm a huge Ford fan. But the 5.4 motors that they put in the F-150s from like 2004 to 2010, I take that back, 2004 to 2008, because 2009 they redid them, they didn't have the problems. They had the timing issues, the timing chain, tensioner issues, and the camshaft phasers. Junk. The motor's crap. I don't care who says what. Oh, you can rebuild them, blah, blah, blah. It's crap. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's junk. I'm sorry. They did fix it. Now, don't get that confused. The 2-valve 5.4s from prior were fine. Once, you got over the spark plugs blowing out of the top of them. But I had an F-150. I think it was a 2007. They left Nicky on the side of the road because it literally just blew the timing chain off. Like, that's cool. I didn't junk it, but I got rid of it. I had a 2008 F-150
It was the XL. It was the work truck. It had over 400,000 miles on it. It had a new remanufactured motor from Ford with 30,000 miles on the motor, and the cam phasers had issues, and it blew the timing chain off of it. I had another one that just had a serious misfire, and I don't know where it was coming from, but it wasn't timing. I had a 2011 F-150 for about 3 weeks. I loved that truck. That had a 5.0 in it. But if anybody knows Fords, the 2011 5.0s were known to have issues where the number 8 cylinder exhaust valve would wear down and cause a misfire, and you would have to replace the entire cylinder head. Yeah, well, that was a problem. I tell you what, that was a great truck, though. If I would have paid to get that fixed, it would have been a great truck, because that was the 5 liter. That thing got 21 miles to a gallon, and that was a 4-wheel drive, the off-road package, so it had the 2-inch lift, and I had aggressive mud tires. Well, not mud, but I had the off-road tires on there. That was 21 miles a gallon. I was impressed. And that was the V8, not the EcoBoost. That's something I would seriously chase storms in. I was impressed. The 5 liters do get pretty good gas mileage for being a big motor. The second worst vehicle I've ever owned was a Dodge Charger. Absolute piece of junk. Replaced every single component in the front suspension, and just keep wearing out. I think it's because with the V8, I think it's too heavy for the front end. I think it just wears the suspension out way too fast. And then, what other vehicles have I had that were just junk? That's about it. I think my favorite vehicle, though, my old Ford Expedition. I had a 2010 Expedition. That thing was awesome. I got it super cheap. There was a sheriff's department in Illinois that was getting rid of all their old vehicles. That was one of theirs. And I got it for $1,500. And it had 180,000 miles on it, but so what for that price? That was a really good truck. It had the exhaust manifold issues, like all Fords with the 5 Fords in them did. And it was super expensive. It was $2,000 to get that replaced. Because the studs snapped off, and then sometimes you got to take one of the motor mounts off, and you got to tip the engine to one side. It's a pain, but I really liked it. I'll be honest with you though, the best car. No, yeah, I think it's fair to say the best car that I've ever owned though has been our Fusion. We've put over 100,000 miles on it, and I haven't had to do anything to it other than routine maintenance. Great car. Just because the power steering rack failed and Ford has crap customer service and doesn't want to replace it, even though it's been recalled on other vehicles, whatever. I mean, 100,000 miles, it's going to cost. If it goes to Ford, it's $4,000 to replace it. Well, $4,000 in repairs and 100,000 miles isn't bad. The air conditioning went out, the AC compressor went out, but it's a 10-year-old car. Of course, the AC compressor is going to go out. They usually only last 8 to 10 years anyway. It's not a big deal. So, how long do I have to drive tonight? Until we get tired, basically. A Liberty? Yeah. We looked at a 2006 Liberty with almost 200,000 miles on it the other day, and the guy wanted $10,000 for it. I'm like, are you smoking something? I do like the little Jeep Liberties. I tell you what, though, if I could find a nice, 97 to 2000 something, the Jeep Cherokees, the XJs, the boxy ones, I'd buy one of those. If you could find a clean one that, some high school kid hasn't hacked up and tried to put a lift kit on or whatever, those are really nice vehicles that last forever. I'm actually trying to see if I could find one, a 2-wheel drive one, because they're cheaper for us, possibly for storm chasing, just because they're super reliable. do like these Ford Escapes. They're pretty good vehicles. Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Oh, it definitely helps. Glad you enjoy the channel. You know, that's the thing. You know, you can buy these old vehicles, keep them on the road so long. Old vehicles are almost expensive, are going up in price, so all used cars are. Yeah. Oh, a 2013 Scion? I forgot about that. I had one of those. I had two of those. No, I had three of those things. Okay, so when I got out of high school, I was really stupid. And I was working this job that paid a lot of money, and I had a lot of money, and I was really dumb. So I went to CarMax, and I got a Scion TC. I think it was a 2000... Oh my God, what was it, a 12? It was a 12 or a 13. It was gray. And it was really, really nice, and I liked it. But if you're not, anyone who's not familiar, it's a two-door coupe. It's like a hatchback. It's basically like a Toyota Corolla, but two doors with a hatchback. But the entire roof is glass, like it's an entire glass panel. And I was not storm chasing, but it was in a hailstorm, and the top glass got shattered, and they actually totaled the car because of how expensive it was to replace those panels. So I went and got a different car. Well, a little bit after that, I decided I wanted another one, so I went and bought another gray one, but that was 2014. Kind of got sick of it, so I traded it in, and then it was that bright blue, and I got rid of it. And you know what? I really wish I would have kept it because it got awesome gas mileage. But it had a problem, and I'll tell you what that was. It drove me nuts. It was a 2016. It had like 18,000 miles on it. I was so happy because it had, low miles, whatever. It was that really bright blue that Toyota has. It was super pretty. But there was something wrong with it where it squeaked horribly. I think it was the hatchback. Or maybe it was the glass panels. I don't know. But whenever it was below 50 degrees, it sounded like you were rubbing pieces of styrofoam together. I couldn't find the noise. I took it back to CarMax. They couldn't find the noise. I took it to a Toyota dealership. They had it for a week. It literally apparently just drove it all over the place with like people in the back like pushing on things. They couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. It finally annoyed me enough, and then when we got the Fusion, that's when I sold that Scion. We actually took the Scion, I dropped it off at a CarMax, they bought it, and then we got the Fusion from Carvana. And I wish I would have kept that Scion. The payment on it was low, it was a pretty good car, but I loved that TC. Small car, but I tell you what, the gas mileage, you got like 35 miles a gallon, solid running car. Scion quit making cars. They're subsidy, or Scion's basically just Toyota, for those that don't know. But yeah,
I miss it. I miss that car. It's always fun to buy a new car with low miles, but I put the miles on so fast it doesn't last long. Just coming through Cascade, Iowa. Honestly, Nick, you can just give me that car, I'll put a motor in it, and I'll drive it. I still can't believe that Nick bought that car that looks brand new and threw the head gasket let go on it. Yeah, the expeditions are good. Yeah, I love mine. Great vehicle. I can't remember what mine did for gas, but I think it was right around like 20 miles a gallon. That went on a couple of storm chases too. I forgot about the transmission that grenaded on the way to Colorado. We were had a 98 Expedition that we bought for $1,400. This thing had no rust on it. It was red, leather interior. Like, this is a great truck. We actually bought it with intentions of reselling it to make some money. But I'm like, where the heck are you going to find this nice of a vehicle for $1,400? So we kept it. It was a great truck. It was clean. Reliable for a while. Great truck. Super nice for what it was. 90. It was old, but like I said, not a spot of rust on it. Okay, well, the 2 days before we go to Colorado with it, it stops charging. I'm like, okay, it needs an alternator. Well, then the starter went out. Okay, it needs a starter. All right, so I put all this work into it, and then I put a water pump on it. I converted it from the fan bolted to the water pump to an actual electric fan. Did all this, like $1,000 worth of parts into it. Good to go. We get going out to Colorado. We're just outside of Golden, which is Golden is on the west side of Denver, just outside of Golden on 70. And I'm like, God, well, that was we were going up a hill. And it clunked and it jerked pretty hard. And I'm like, oh, transmission must have slipped. And I'm like, okay, it's got almost 300,000 miles on this thing. Of course the transmission's going to slip. No big deal. Whatever. Start going down the hill, and it slams, and it somehow shifted itself into four-wheel drive low.
No idea. I didn't turn the knob, but like the transfer case, something in there caused it to like shift into 4 low. And we were doing like 80 miles an hour. So something broke in the transfer case, and then it got stuck in 4 low. So we met the people out there. Let me tell you, don't care about helping. I called like 5 or 6 shops. I'm like, here's the deal. I'm out here. I'm stranded. If I get you this piece of crap, can you do something with it today? And they're all like, no. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Whatever. So I remember I took the shift motor off of it and tried to move the fork back into the 2-wheel drive high position, and it would not move. Something was screwed up in that transfer case. So we started driving back down the mountain because I think there was somewhere else. There was another shop I was going to take it to. So we're driving like 20 miles an hour down the side of the interstate because it's in 4 low. Well, I don't remember what happened. I don't know if I hit the brakes or hit the gas or what, but something happened and the transfer case totally locked up and it sheared the front drive shaft completely off and shot it out the bottom of the truck. And it went flying down on the road. I'm not kidding. Like, it locked the transfer case that hard that it just sheared the front drive shaft in half. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And we were like right next to a fire department, so I pulled into this fire department and we couldn't get anybody to come get us. Called Uber, I tried the cab companies, I tried everything. Nobody would come get us. And I'm like, getting ticked off. So I like yelled at the lady from the cab service. I'm like, so you're telling me I can't even pay you $1,000 to come get me out of here? Like, I'm stranded. She didn't care. So I called our insurance, and Progressive's like, well, we can't send anybody. You're too far away. I'm like, then why am I paying for this roadside? Well, they eventually called the tow truck. The guy showed up eventually. But, so I called the cops, and I'm like, do you got anybody like that can help? Well, the cops were helpful. The state cop that showed up drove down to like somebody who knew his house to see if they would just take us back into Denver so we could get a ride. But he was going to take us. Basically, eventually the tow truck driver took us, whatever, but the cop was going to give us a ride, so that was nice. But it was hilarious because he was trying to make room in the back seat for one of us, and he just starts pulling out like all these guns. He's got like 4 or 5 like shotguns in the back seat. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, what the hell? Like, he just got all these guns laying in the back seat. I'm like, okay. And he's like pulling them out, just putting them in the trunk like nothing's happening, whatever. But we towed the thing to CarMax, sold it for cheap, and got a different vehicle. But yeah, that was a miserable time. Never want to do that again. What a terrible experience. And of course, it was like 95 degrees out too. Really tough too, because I was talking to a friend of mine and he's like, why don't you just, with that Fusion, he's like, why didn't you just trade it in when you were down there or something and get something else? I'm like, hey, you don't understand, with all the equipment in it, it takes days to put all this equipment in a vehicle. That's the problem with storm chasing. I could have a brand new car and it could break down. And it's still a huge problem because I need my equipment to chase. So if I go rent a car, I'm without my equipment. It's kind of the problem of storm chasing. You become really, really dependent on the vehicle. coming through Monticello, Iowa. I see the comment about the car wrap. I actually considered getting a wrap just for myself because I had an Explorer that I lettered, with the website on the door, and like people were coming up to me all the time, like asking what the heck we were doing, and it was really, really good to help get views, which obviously views turn into ad money, which helps us. I'm actually thinking about a partial wrap for this vehicle. I'm not going to do a full wrap because it looked kind of goofy on this car. But I was thinking a partial wrap. It's tan, so I don't know if anything really goes with tan. But I'm going to see if I can get a partial wrap done. Just that way, it's basically a billboard, so it's almost like it's always advertising. But I did consider reaching out to see if anybody would want to do that. In fact, I considered asking one of these large car wrap places. These nationwide companies that do vehicle graphics, that they would be interested in even just doing it for a reduced price if I let them slap their logo on it and stuff. Might be able to do something like that. So I'll be honest with you, right now gas is really tough on us. Normally it's not. Normally it's not as much as you think. But when it's nearly $4 everywhere, it is really tough. But it's tough on everybody. Well, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, after you buy truck parts, I understand how that goes. I need to buy some parts too. But I was going to just get this car lettered with the website, but I'm really leaning toward a partial wrap because there is a company that's not too far from me that'll do, I think it's Monarch Media. They'll do a partial wrap for pretty cheap. This vehicle doesn't have bed liner on it. This vehicle's not going to, just because we don't really care if this one gets dented or not. I originally wanted to get the Fusion wrapped, but for a full wrap it was going to be like $7,500. I'm like, yeah, not happening. They were going to do a partial wrap for $2,500. I still didn't have $2,500 to blow, that's for sure. But they offered to do one, but they kind of stopped and said, no, don't do it. They really couldn't. The car is green. Like under the bed liner, that car came from the factory as a green car. Ford calls it ginger ale. It's like a really really pale green. It's actually kind of cool looking. It's almost gold-like. I like the color, but they could not come up with anything that would go with that color when doing a partial wrap. Like everything just looked awful. So that's why I didn't go through with it. Couldn't afford it anyway, but we're kind of like, yeah, this looks dumb. That was the one thing with that car, is like nothing went good with it. I need to ask Ryan where he got his truck wrapped, because they did a really nice job with that. And then after he got in that accident, he wasn't driving, but his driver got in that accident and then messed up the wrap on the one side. They did a really nice job replacing the wrap and making sure it all matched. I'm gonna have to see where he got that done. as a sponsor because I want to start giving away weather radios and stuff. And need things like that. Tell them they can slap their logo on the side of the car. A lot of people don't want to sponsor storm chasers just because it's looked at as a dangerous activity, so it's really tough to get sponsorships, and I get it. I've been turned down by a few companies because of that. So the next company I pitch anything to, I think I'm going to refer to myself as like, I don't know, Cloud Watcher or something a little less dangerous than Storm Chaser. So we had a couple of companies that were going to sponsor. I had a tire company that was going to sponsor us. They agreed to, and everything was fine, but then they couldn't get it approved through their board of directors or whatever because storm chasing was dangerous. And I'm like, oh, for come on. Like, really? Like, you're a tire company. Like, why do you care? That was disappointing. Because they were going to give me like a discount thing, like that I could put on like the YouTube videos, and like people could get like a manufacturer's coupon and stuff for these tires, and it was going to be pretty neat. But they just wouldn't do it at the end. Well, that's the goal. The reason we're trying to get the sponsors is that, like I said, I want to start giving stuff to people. Whether it's viewers or these people that like get their houses blown away from tornadoes and stuff. I think it'd be cool on here if, you know, one day we could pick it like 2 or 3 days a month and, you know, I don't know, go through the YouTube chat history and put all the chats into a random picker, and then it picks one person or whatever, and then send them something. I don't know. So that's what my whole goal is with the sponsors. Find somebody to do that. Like I said, I'm really trying with Midland. They sponsor a couple other storm chasers. So I'm gonna see what I can do there. I just want them to just send me like 10 weather radios. That's all I really want. I think I'm going to get some tires put on this car probably next week. This is only a front-wheel drive model, but I think I'm going to put the VF Goodrich KO2s on it, just for the heck of it.
demographics of my followers.
Okay, so I found this out with YouTube Analytics. About 85% of the people that watch these live streams are men and women ages 45 to 65, and that kind of surprised me. I don't know, maybe I need to get Rogaine as a sponsor or something. I think I'm going to pick up one of those GoPro 360 cameras here. Maybe on this chase. I was sent the money specifically to do that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one. I've never used one before, so I got to figure that out. So we can stream in 360. Falcon Wild Peak tires are actually really good. Gotta love Discount Tire. I agree. Several chasers have gotten Ford to give them vehicles. I was actually talking to Ford at one point about that. I don't think they're going to want to do that anymore, though. After I've trash talked them. But their customer service just really irritated me. The power steering rack on that car is recalled, but the VIN is not. Even though the part's recalled, the vehicle is not on the list of approved vehicles to have it replaced on. I'm like, how the heck can you even do that? Like, you're telling me this part's junk, and it's unsafe enough that you're recalling it, but you won't do it to my vehicle because it's on the list of vehicles to exclude. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Garbage. Then you got the irresponsible 16-year-old kid that just drove his truck into a tornado in Texas. That dealership gave him $15,000 in a truck, so whatever. Maybe I'll just go buy a crappy old Chevy truck and just drive it into a tornado and roll it and get a free one. I guess it's that easy. I wonder if Ford would have done anything if I would have ran that car into a tornado by mistake and like sent it 10 counties over.
hope for that Fusion, though. I was able to find a remanufactured electric power steering rack for $375, and that beats the Ford price tag of almost $2,000. And I think it's only 6 or 7 hours of labor to get it in. So even if I have somebody do it, it should be a little bit under $1,200. So that's not too bad. The Tesla comment, to be completely honest, I've actually considered getting a Tesla just for at home. Because here's the deal. They would be a pain to drive an electric car storm chasing because you just can't count on the supercharger being in the right spot. But for like at home, the farthest Nikki ever goes when I'm not home is like maybe 100 miles. You get like a Tesla Model S extended range or whatever, you get 350 miles. Okay. She's not going to go 350 miles in one day, come home, charge it, it'd be excellent. I actually seriously considered it. A friend of mine has a Tesla. It's actually, if anybody watches Reed's channel, it's the drone kid, Alex. He bought a Tesla and he really likes it. The nice thing about the Tesla is you don't have the maintenance costs, like the oil changes and all that stuff. The used Teslas have come down in price. And I think they're just going to keep coming down as they become a little more mainstream. Electric cars in cold weather don't really, like, there's a lot of people that complain about their Teslas never de-icing. You know, they're just, the front of them's just covered in ice because there's no motor to keep it warm, and they just have a ton of ice buildup. That's kind of one of the downsides, you know, living in a cold climate. Maybe I'll put a solar panel in the backyard and charge my car with a solar panel. Drive for free. The Ford Fusion Energy is a plug-in hybrid model of the Ford Fusion, but the range is really low on it. It'll only go like 200 miles, I think, if even. But those are all things that I would buy if, you know, I had money for a Tesla, and I sure don't. But it is nice to see, though, some of this newer technology becoming a little bit closer to being affordable. Toyota fan. I don't think I've ever owned a Toyota other than that Scion, but I've worked on a lot of Toyotas. You know, they are really good cars, especially the older ones. stay away from Subaru. I feel like the interior of them is really sterile, like really anemic. Like I feel like that's the only way to describe it. Like you look at the outside of a Subaru from like the mid 2015s era, it looks like a modern car. You step into the Subaru and you feel like you're driving a Toyota from the 90s. Like there's really, I don't know. Not a fan of the interiors, but it's not like that matters to me a whole lot. But I don't know. I'm just not a huge Subaru fan. But it's got to be saying something, though. I mean, look at the piece of crap that Reed drives. Dominator dumpster. As we jokingly call it. I think I beat the heck out of that thing. I mean, if that thing can look like that and still drive, it must be a decent car. Let me tell you, it's a lot of work to get your vehicle to look that bad, too. Like, it's really tough to get into hail that big. Like, a lot of people think that it's just recklessness, but it's not. Like, to actually find hail that large in a storm is actually really tough. So for him to have that beat up of a vehicle in that period of time is actually, that actually shows quite a bit of skill, believe it or not. I have purposefully tried to intercept large hailstones with this and failed several times. It's really tough to find the part of the storm with that big hail in it. It's usually a really small portion. Yeah, I have considered the ride-along thing. There's a lot of companies that do storm chasing tours. And I always thought I would like to start a tour company, but I have a feeling the insurance is really high. But I've promised a couple of our moderators that I would take them along. Sometime, if possible, later in the like maybe the late May or June part of the season, renting a minivan or something, and we all go chasing. It'd be kind of fun. But with that said, I am open at times to people that do want to ride along. I've got some family members that want to. It's just really tough, and it's kind of, I almost feel bad because storm chasing is probably not very fun for somebody that's not a storm chaser, because it's a lot of miles with nothing to show for oftentimes, and it's just a lot of sitting in the car. It can be very boring at times. To be completely honest, a lot of times I turn the stream on just to keep myself entertained. It gets really, really boring, all the driving. I think this car needs a motor mount. A couple of them. Vibrates. Why is this light red? Alright, so this is Marion. This is basically Cedar Rapids. Okay, so the green light does work. I was starting to wonder if the green light worked. There's something rattling around in the back of this car, and it is driving me nuts. Thought about buying an old Crown Victoria. Well, not old, but like a 2010 through 2011, like the last years they made them. Problem is, you can't really find any nice ones anymore. Great storm chasing vehicle it would be. High ground clearance, still a car, cheap parts. But unfortunately, we're past the era where you can find a decent one anymore. They're all beat up by now. Ford really screwed the cop car market though when they released the Interceptor and the Interceptor Utility. So the Ford Taurus and the Ford Explorer basically really screwed the market because they are expensive to repair. They're complex to repair. You know, the Crown Victoria was simple. You know, real basic vehicle. And here they say, nope, screw that. We're going to give you this all-wheel drive mess with a million problems. Good luck fixing it. So, awesome. Made every fleet mechanic hate their job. I do lean toward the minivan idea, though. Seriously, just because you can put so much stuff in a minivan. And I find myself with more and more equipment. I'm trying to get some funds built up through streaming to buy some like disaster relief supplies, just like some basic stuff. You know, paper towel, baby wipes, disinfectant, stuff like that. Just stuff that might be helpful to people that just had their house like swept away by a hurricane or something. Batteries, flashlights, whatever. And if I want to carry any amount of that, like any useful amount of that stuff, I'm going to have a bigger vehicle like a minivan or something. So I seriously am going to consider at some point possibly getting a minivan. And we'll chase storms in a minivan. Ford C-Max? I haven't seen a C-Max for a while. They're kind of cute. Kind of like a mini Ford Escape. I don't know, do they still even make those? I don't know. What I actually really want is a Ford Flex. It'd be great for storm chasing, but then again, these modern Fords they're pretty problematic. Not a huge EcoBoost fan. Put a motor in this. I'm actually considering maybe just putting the motor in myself and live streaming it. It's really not that hard to put a motor in a smaller vehicle like this. Because these 4-cylinder motors, there's a lot of room under the hood. And it's really not that labor intensive.
A lot of people freak out when they hear take out the motor, and really, it's not that hard. Take the AC compressor off, take the power steering pump off, unhook the exhaust, unhook the wiring harness and any hoses, unbolt it from the transmission, put a block under that or whatever, and you pretty much pick the thing out. It's really not that hard. It's just intimidating. A vehicle like what I drive, honestly, anybody with a basic set of hand tools probably could do a motor swap. It's just intimidating to people. Anyway, guys, we are right now headed toward Altus, Oklahoma, extreme southwest Oklahoma. Looks like we could have a couple of storms go up tomorrow evening around sunset. And it looks like they might be on the low end of the severe side. Probably no tornadoes, but maybe some hail. But I suspect that they'll be fairly photogenic, because if we get just a couple of discrete cells out there with flat terrain, it'll make for some nice viewing. And we could finally get some nice looking pretty storms on the street. Part of the road's always under construction. Yeah, we just went through Cedar Rapids. Or, I'm sorry, we're about to. I always kind of consider like Marion and Mount Vernon just Cedar Rapids, but technically haven't gone through Cedar Rapids yet. We do have a new windshield wiper. That's excellent. So we'll be able to see. Like I said, the temperature normally shows up on the corner of the mirror. And it's not anymore. The mirror died. It's disappointing. So I don't even know how warm it is. No clue. It's getting really sore in this car. I need to get a new seat cushion. I've got like a foam seat pad. I got a Farm and Fleet over a year ago and it's way worn out. I see these like gel-filled ones at the Love's truck stops all the time, but they're $75. They look like they'd be really nice, and I think I might get one. I sit in the seat so much. And honestly, the seat's not that comfortable. Anyway, like I was saying earlier, I appreciate all the support, the super chats, the viewing, everything like that. Can't thank you guys enough for helping us do this full time and everything, because my thing is, you know, the streaming costs so much more. When we're out here just storm chasing and selling the media, it's not that expensive, but the streaming costs a lot of money. And the crowdfunding that we all do here supports that. So it's always appreciated. I see several super chats came in tonight, so thank you guys again. On our trip here, here's the 380 exchange.
Take exit 250 to be onto I-380 South. And
This will get us down to I-80, and then we'll take 80 into Des Moines, and then we'll take 35 south pretty much all the way to where we want to go almost. And I got to figure something out for the reflection. If we got any photographers or whatever, maybe able to give some suggestions. The reflection there, the orange on the left of the screen, I've got two-way radios mounted on the dash, and they reflect horribly onto the windshield at night. And I tried using a polarizer filter.
Take exit 0B to merge onto I-80 West toward Des Moines.
Tried using a polarizer filter on there, and it's not enough to do it at night. During the day it takes out the reflection, but at night it doesn't. And I guess I could shut it off. Well, I'll just shut it off, because it personally drives me nuts looking at the preview. thought about maybe putting a piece of cardboard or even just a washcloth or something over them when streaming, but I need to do something. Maybe I need to get the camera positioned in a different spot, but it really drives me nuts. But I thought my polarizer might do it, but it's just not enough at night. And thanks there for the $10, absolutely. Where am I? I'm near Cedar Rapids. I'm gonna have to get the map on the on this overlay for everybody. I want to see here if the I have a red dome light in here so that you can turn it on to find stuff and not have it blind you at night. Luckily, that doesn't cause any reflections. The regular ones do, but I got it on now and it doesn't seem to. I tried purposefully to not mount things on the dash so that it wasn't reflecting in the windshield. Yeah, a cardboard plastic shield. That's kind of what I was getting at with the washcloth comment. I was going to say something about a shield, and then I just didn't feel like explaining it, so let's just throw a washcloth over it. But yeah, I thought about taking just temporarily a piece of cardboard and just velcroing it to the top and having it stick out. That's probably going to be about the only thing I can do. But yeah, I might be able to find a plastic shroud or something that sticks out just a little bit that I can stick on there. Yeah, Riley, we need to set up something. Ryan was supposed to send me that, but Ryan's really, really hard to pin down. Like, I won't be able to get a hold of him for 3 days, but then I'll get like 50 text messages from him. It's just like talking to Reed, which is kind of how it is talking to me too. So the warning overlay that I have now is just it's a ticker, a scroll, and it's just basically just the NWS tornado account that scrolls across the bottom. But I have to go in at the end of every day and manually purge it. Otherwise, it'll be showing old tornado warnings. It's a pain. But Amy, thanks for the super chat. And the other one there as well, you heard some people say 2021 severe season, maybe similar to 2011. If you're talking about 2022, possibly. I don't know. I don't get really too big into the long range stuff. I honestly don't understand the long range forecasting as much as I do the short range. So I don't really have an opinion on it. But so far, we've had a really active year. So I think statistically, I think that's a sign that we're going to probably have a pretty eventful spring here. Yeah, Riley, I don't know if Ryan was... whoever was making that I was talking to at one point, and then I just kind of lost touch about it. Because I'd be happy to put... we could even slap... Ryan's logo on the corner of it or something too. But yeah, I see Riley's in there. He's one of Ryan's moderators. He helps a lot on the stream, and he kind of helps me too when we're out storm chasing. If there's something that he thinks I didn't notice or something, like a confirmed tornado or something that maybe I'm not noticing, he'll jump on the phone and make mention of it. So it's seriously a huge help the other day. Thank you again, Riley. But I should probably mention Ryan's channel at this point. If you're interested in the up-to-date weather information while we're storm chasing, I can't give out really a whole lot of weather information because I'm always focused on one or two storms. But you can always go check out Ryan Hall's YouTube channel. I don't have a link to him in my description, but I'm going to put one in there. He works with a lot of us streamers. He's a really good guy, and I think what he's doing is really good. He's basically a live weather channel. Gives out lots of radar updates. You're welcome to watch him as well. And remember this, know that there's a lot of weather YouTubers out there that do these live weather breakdowns and stuff. Reed is one of them, but Reed's primarily chasing. Reed does an excellent job. But Ryan takes it as, when there's a tornado outbreak happening, he's live discussing it. I can't speak for some of the other YouTubers in the weather community. I know there's a few others. I can't speak for them, but I can speak for Ryan. Ryan, if you choose to watch him, you're supporting a genuinely nice person. I mean, I've become pretty good friends with him. I talk to him on a daily basis. pretty extensively, and I promise you are supporting a genuinely nice person. So I definitely recommend you check out his channel. Yeah, thanks for putting Ryan's link in there. I appreciate that. Yeah, Slops was the one that was involved in that. I don't know what it was. But, yeah, they were involved in something. I kicked Streamlabs and OBS out the door. Like I said, I'm using vMix now. I'm over it. I'm done. They don't anything based on OBS does not ingest RTMP like it should, even if you're using the VLC player. It just, you have audio sync issues when you're cutting in and out of service. It's like it can't recognize that and resync it. So our streaming server right now is running vMix. But of course, we can use all of our existing overlays on vMix, and by adding them as a browser source or a plugin or whatever, that's not a problem. But I was using OBS until today. So I paid for vMix, and we're running that, and it seems to be working well. It's ingesting the feed a lot better. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole Streamlabs thing. I don't know what the status is on that. I know I was hearing a lot about it like a year ago, but I haven't heard much about it since. I don't know if that's settled or if it's still ongoing or what. Yeah, I wish that Streamlabs and OBS would fix that a little bit with the connection. Yeah, because basically, it's tough when we're out here and we're constantly losing service and stuff. There's an audio sync issue with OBS. Well, one, it's possible that it won't refresh the feed. Two, sometimes the audio will get out of sync, and it's just really frustrating. The workaround is supposedly to use the VLC media source as the channel, as the media input, but it still causes issues. vMix does it pretty well though. So I basically just converted all of my overlays to like what Riley said there, just to a web link, and it's just added in there as a browser source. It works. I hate Streamlabs. I do like the Streamlabs app for your phone. I think that's excellent for content creators. But, I don't know. I can never get Streamlabs to run right. I've got a really, really, really high spec gaming laptop that I use for my editing that I got a couple of months ago. And it's still it's really slow running Streamlabs. I don't get it. OBS it runs fine, but I don't know. It just amazes me that it's 2022 and we have to do all these workarounds, and it's so difficult to just stream a video. You'd think you'd be able to just push a button and it would work from anywhere, and that's not the case. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you mentioned in the comments there about the big Streamlabs controversy, because I kind of forgot about that. I'll have to check on the status of that. But yeah, I remember everybody was like freaking out and running away from it. The nice thing about Streamlabs though is their website. You can do a lot of the widgets and the overlays right from their website. But Stream Elements works really well too for that kind of stuff. A lot of the stuff here that I'm using for streaming, I've had to go to the kind of the gamer community to figure out how to do a lot of this IRL stuff from the field. A lot of people have told me to get a live view. The reason I don't run a live view is because I like it all in one package. I like to be able to set my phone up there, stream it to the server, and then have the server figure out where it needs to go. With the live view, you're carrying around a big backpack all the time, and it's kind of a pain. I probably should look into a live view, though, at some point. But I don't know. I rented a live view unit once, and I didn't notice any difference using that versus my phone, honestly. So that's why I didn't really ever get one. They're expensive, and people swear by them, but in my experience, I just didn't notice much of a difference. Oh yeah, we go everywhere. Ohio, anywhere. If there's a prayer or a hint of a tornado, we're going. I remember 2019, I don't know if I remember the summer much, but I remember the severe weather season in like May. It was just like non-stop severe weather. I chased a lot in May of 2019. A lot. I don't remember I don't think that I ever made it out to Ohio that year in 2019 though. Yeah, thanks everybody that is now. I see a lot of people with the good night comments. Yeah, good night everybody that's checking out of the stream. Appreciate you watching. Like I said, I'm going to start streaming the drives more, and I'm going to switch the thumbnail so it's not as misleading. But a lot of people have been asking to do these streams because a lot of people just want to see parts of the country that they haven't seen. Plus, it keeps me awake and entertained. So. Like I said, it's a good way to make sure everything's working also. I'm actually happy with how the stream's working now. That's the nice thing about using the HEVC, the high efficiency video codec, instead of H.264.
Use the right lane to take exit 0B to merge onto I-80 west toward Des Moines.
It uses less bandwidth, so even in an area with weaker signal, you can still get a pretty decent video out. That's what costs the most money with the streaming, is running the server to transcode that in the cloud.
Take the exit.
It's really expensive. It takes quite a pretty fair amount of computing power to transcode that to H.264 in the cloud. You do all that on Amazon Web Services. This interchange has been under construction for like years. Yeah, if Kathleen puts a comment in YouTube chat, I can mod her. I don't know if you can as a moderator. I don't know if you can add more moderators or not. But
miles. Continue straight.
If I see her pop up, I can add her. Okay. I think so. Well, I thought I could. Oh, there we go. I think I got her. She should be a moderator now. Any creepy
Creepy stories from the road? No, not really. Nothing too terribly strange has happened, at least driving. Believe it or not. A lot of dumb stuff has happened, though. There's the beeper again. Probably going to leave the stream up here for another half hour, so once we get to Des Moines I'll probably shut it off, but just want to give everybody an update. Slight risk for severe weather tomorrow, southwest Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle region, possibly some elevated storm, or high base storms I should say, maybe some hailstones. No tornadoes likely. Probably some pretty storms we'll be streaming. Then we'll head a little bit farther east into northeast Texas and east Texas on Monday, possibly tornadoes. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got Louisiana to Georgia for a severe weather event. Again. Yeah, we had that goose that we had to move out of the road. That was interesting. Got an F4 tornado on the ground. We're trying to get to it, and there's a goose blocking the road. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I had cows blocking the road once after a tornado. There was like 3 cows in the road, and they would not move. I just sat there laying on the horn, and they like refused to move. Make a decent time. I left a little bit later than I wanted. This car braking caused a problem. We took our kids bowling today. That was kind of fun. I'm terrible at bowling. That's all right. I did not get the new alternator put in, but, and this is how I know the alternator is going out. All of a sudden it's working and it's putting out 14 volts again. So it's intermittent, so I know it's about to take a crap. So I brought the new alternator with and all the tools to replace it. It's like a half-hour job. So if it craps out on the side of the road, we're going to live stream replacing it. Otherwise, I think tomorrow evening, or tomorrow Monday morning, I think Monday morning I'll have time to replace it. I'll just replace it at the hotel. It's not a big deal. It's an easy fix. I just didn't get around to it. But I brought the part with. So if it craps out while we're going down the road, we can deal with it. Not a big deal. Really wanted to get that in, but I woke up and it was snowing like an inch per hour this morning, and it was a wet, heavy snow with rain mixed in. And I just really did not want to be standing outside doing that. Yeah, like the service manual for this car says it's like a 10-hour job to replace the alternator. They say, remove the passenger side motor mount, remove the exhaust, do all this other crap. Well, it's funny, there's a guy on YouTube that takes this alternator out in like 20 minutes flat. Basically, there's a bolt that you can take out that's not a bolt, it's actually a stud. And if you take the stud out, you can just pull the alternator right off the top. I'm like, what the hell? Why don't they put that in the service manual? And sure as heck, he's right. So, it's just dumb. Cars are dumb. They got a nice alternator. It's a high output one, so it should be good. Extra amps for more power.
exactly why they put it in the manual like that, so they can charge, you know, $800 to replace something, and that would take a half hour, pretty much. I think that's a lot of things, though. That doesn't look good. Oh, they're checking the back seat. That's not good. Somebody didn't hide their weed very good. Ryan told me I could buy that thing, and I said no. It costs like $200 to fill that thing up. The heck with that. If the price of diesel wasn't so high, I would totally buy it. I don't know if you could pay me to take that, Riley. I don't know. Like, so I'm super against driving big vehicles storm chasing. I'm always afraid that with the high profile, I'm going to get, like, rolled over by wind. But I did used to chase in an F-150. And it was nice to have the four-wheel drive. I will admit that. I will admit that. The advantage of having a diesel vehicle, though, for a storm chase vehicle is when you go for hurricanes, a lot of times the gas stations run out of gas, but they still have diesel. So if you've got a diesel truck and you're chasing a hurricane, you can still get gas, which is nice. I had an F-250 and I used to put off-road diesel in it. Probably shouldn't say that on the live stream, but I'm not gonna lie, I did it a few times. An old Bronco? Hell yeah. Those things run forever. That's the nice thing about driving like a car like that Fusion is when you're in really, really high winds, like in the RFD of a storm, it didn't really push the car all over the road so much. Like driving this small SUV like what I'm in now, you can really feel it push the car I mean, it's not like it's uncontrollable or anything, but you can really feel it push and tug at it side to side. We're driving a low-profile car. You don't really notice it so much, which is kind of nice. Like a 1995 Toyota Camry, those never die. Never. Almost midnight. This road is really washboarded. A lot of washboarding in it. It's really rough. I'm trying to kind of find a spot. Stretch of 80 is pretty bad. No potholes or anything, it's just really washboarded. headed towards southwest Oklahoma. I'll probably stop somewhere near Kansas City tonight for a little while, a couple hours. Probably going to be rolling into the target kind of at the last minute because of this late start. But tomorrow's really not the most exciting severe weather day. It's really Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that we're interested in. But tomorrow it's like we might as well. Hey, here's the this is neat. Check this out. Hang on. That's a giant corn planter tipped vertically as like a sign. I pass that all the time. It's the one of the Kinsey plants. They make farm equipment. Pretty neat. Yeah, that's a large wind farm around here. Iowa's got a lot of wind farms. Usually if you put the tires right on the center line, we don't get that vibration that shakes, so that's what we're going to do. It gets a little bit better up here. Suspension on this car is pretty stiff, so you really feel it. Tends to be a pretty boring drive. everybody, to all those that are signing out. I promise you probably won't miss much. Thanks for the super chat if you're watching from Grant County. Yeah, we went through there just a little bit ago. Biggest tornado we've seen in 2020. Well, I guess if you say biggest by size was probably the Winterset, Iowa tornado just a couple of weeks ago, I would say probably. Yep, we'll be streaming tomorrow, absolutely. Try to post some more of that lightning video from the other night down there in Mississippi. I just got to get it off the GoPro. I just got to get that done. I posted a short clip of it to my Twitter the other night. It was just very intense. Some of the most intense lightning I've ever seen, honestly. Be from the same system that's bringing us severe weather. I haven't really looked at models too much, to be honest, at all, actually, for this upcoming week. I saw the trough or the disturbance last week on the models, and then the SPC highlighted the days in the outlook. So that's kind of what prompted me to come out here. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll be checking the models for sure. It is 12:30 Eastern time. Yeah, it's almost midnight here, Central time, surprisingly. Doesn't feel like a Saturday night. Or Sunday morning, whichever. Feels like a Monday or something. To get a haircut here. My hair is too long. I was supposed to do that today, but I didn't get to it. There's a lot of stuff I was supposed to do today that I didn't get to. But I did bring my rain. Well, I didn't bring my actual rain suit, but I did bring a windbreaker jacket that's kind of sort of waterproof. So if we have to rescue another cat like we did last time, I don't have to get too terrible soaking wet. I need to go to Walmart and get another pair of shoes. I need to have probably really need to have 3 pairs of shoes in here. Keep the work boots in here and then have a regular pair of shoes and then a backup pair for when the regular ones get soaked. You know what I'm going to do? Just thought of this. I have an electric boot dryer. You know, you plug it into the wall, and you know it's got the 2 pipes on it. And you put your boots and your shoes on there, and it blows air through them. I'm gonna bring that with because I've got a power inverter in here. I can plug that in. I'm gonna start packing that because that would be really handy. Yeah, I carry pretty much all my clothes with me, honestly. So it's usually not a problem of having clothes, but I do run out of clean clothes a lot because I don't run across a laundromat too often. But I have like no clean clothes, so I didn't get a chance to wash them, so I have got to find a laundromat tomorrow. I've got some of those cheap like $1 rain ponchos too. They're not really any good when you're doing like, you know, trying to assist people after a storm because they get caught on everything and ripped. But if there's any reason to have to stand outside the car for a period of time, it is something. Normally I've got my rain suit that I wear for like hurricanes, but I just totally forgot to put that in. But like I said, I did grab a jacket that's mostly water resistant. The rain eventually soaks through, but it's usually good for about a half an hour, and that's really enough for me. So.
west. Once we get to Des Moines, we'll finally be heading south. Drive gets old pretty quick. Adjust the steering wheel angle there. Get away from us though. It's got the steering wheel in here tilts and it doesn't telescope, and I really wish it telescoped because I'd like to bring it closer. I thought it did, but I guess it doesn't. To figure out what's squeaking in the steering column. Every time I turn the wheel a little bit, it's not doing it now that I brought the angle down. It's one of the bushings in there. If I turn the wheel, it squeaks. It's really annoying. It stopped now that I brought the angle down. So. at storms to develop tomorrow evening. I would probably expect them between 5 and 8 p.m. The 3-kilometer dam was showing some isolated, or at least semi-isolated cells. It was showing them in southwest Oklahoma. It was plenty of time to move about 3 hours east for the next day. I was going to write tomorrow off. Wasn't really planning on chasing it. But it's kind of one of those, why not situations. The red lights are windmills, or wind turbines. Iowa's got just a ton of wind farms. They're all over. The whole state's one big wind farm. Up until, how about 12 minutes till midnight, then we'll cut it for the night. Like I said, I'm going to probably get down to Kansas City, I think, and we'll call it a night there for 4, 5, 6 hours. So that'll give us plenty of time to get to where we need to go in the morning still.
close here to where we're going to wrap up the stream. Just want to remind everybody that I appreciate and thank everybody who just simply watches, because obviously the views help. Super chats, PayPal, everything like that. It's all put to support the streaming costs. So thank you again, everybody, for helping support what we're doing and keeping this going. We are going to be getting, well, I'm going to get out of here now. Since it's approaching midnight, I'm going to shut the stream off. But like I said, I'll start the stream back up tomorrow morning, maybe around like noon, well, a little before noon. I'll probably be somewhere, well, by about that time, I would say I'll probably be somewhere just coming into Oklahoma. I would try to stream going through Kansas, but you go through the Flint Hill area there, and like you just, the signal is horrible. It's like almost doesn't even pay to bother. Alright, well thanks for the super chat in there again. Awesome, thank you. Appreciate everyone tonight. Thanks again. I'll probably, well, I might actually start live streaming right away in the morning too. I don't know, but we'll have to start a new live stream when the severe weather happens. Slight risk for severe weather tomorrow in a small area, kind of centered around southwest Oklahoma and that little corner of Texas. Monday, there's a bigger area of severe weather. It includes the Dallas area, northeast and east Texas. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got threats from Louisiana all the way east to Georgia. We'll be out for them all. It's going to be tough to keep up with it overnight, but we should be all right. Just have to get some sleep in during the day between the chases so we can drive at night. So take care, everybody, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow morning.